Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Enjoy the Goldylocks Productions presentation of the In the Psychic Flow Show with Carolan Carey.
A spiritual teacher and a psychic medium and holistic health practitioner. She is a certified and attuned master teacher. She's also a psychic medium and has many abilities that she uses, as well as a degree in interior decorating, and she has utilized feng shui in her daily life since the 1990s. She uses feng shui and space clearing, and Tiffany can assist in uncluttering and re-energizing the home and or workplace. After all, that's where we are affected, and that's what affects our holistic harmony. Tiffany is the producer, as I mentioned, for Goldylocks Productions, which is a subsidiary of the Temple of Healing, which is located in Groton, Connecticut. I think I said that right. And Tiffany has clients located all over the world. Tiffany, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Carolan, for having me on this side of the show.
I don't know how you're going to manage keeping me on track and being a guest, but my kudos to you. I don't know how you do it. But you have several shows in the spiritual, metaphysical realms, and thank you for doing that, because there really is, it's really hard to fit into like a mainstream. You know, and I feel like Goldylocks Productions caters to the metaphysicians in us, and I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, well, I was guided to do so. It was not part of my plan when it was, okay, now let's open up your business, let's do this professionally, you know, and at that time, I had no idea, which, you know, I guess is good. If they give you everything at once, it'd be overwhelming.
Absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to say, we were talking, let me see, where's my thing? We were speaking about different things that I should ask you about that I wanted to run by you, because you're not only beautiful, talented, you're very clever as well, I feel, in investing in your future. Not only are you a great producer, you're a wonderful producer, and thank you for your patience with me. You have your own radio and TV show, Spiritual Insight, on Goldylocks Productions. And as I had mentioned, that's a subsidiary of the Temple of Healing. Now, that's very clever, because you are looking out for your future and using all of your abilities, not only to promote yourself, but others as well. So that's a true metaphysician to me. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely, yes. And that's what it was, is just I wanted to, I was guided to, well, let me step back a little bit. In 2011, I had joined a psychic network that's no longer in business now. But I joined as a psychic medium, you know, okay, and that's where I started my radio show, and then progressed eventually to TV and live streaming at that time was not as popular as now. So it was something that I was like, okay, I was guided to go to this direction, so I went. Followed, because, you know, we've all fought before, him and Hod, but I went kicking and screaming. No.
Yeah.
So I listened, and lo and behold, like 6 months later, the show producer, who was also the web designer for this network, left. No warning, no mess. I mean, so in order to keep everything going, my husband and I stepped in, because my husband's an IT engineer. So he was able to help keep their website together, and I ran the shows. And so then my husband slowly was teaching me website stuff. So I was learning a lot other than just what I was doing, you know. And
wow.
So I did that about 40 years. we were actually about 4.5 years. We were almost into our 5th season, and the company it folded. So, and then the angels and guides are like, okay, well, you have all this training now. Now you do this on your own. And I'm like, what? Deer in the headlights. What? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, what would I call it? They're like, Goldylocks Productions. And I'm like, oh. And, once I embrace, everything just fell into place. I have learned a lot. I've had a lot of the angelic, I call them my angelic committee, a lot of guides, angels, everyone step in beside me and actually help me and teach me. Because there was a lot that it's still ongoing, the learning for production. Like tomorrow, I'm sitting in another production class just to make sure that I am just on top of the latest trends in podcasting, radiocast, live stream, because you got to stay on top of these things. And now there's other people like you, Carolan, there's other show hosts who depend on me to maintain that knowledge to keep us where we are. And so if I couldn't handle it, they wouldn't have given it to me. So I understand that. And so this is how we got to where we are now. And Goldylocks Productions is in its 4th season. So we celebrate 4 years in September. So it's wow, what a journey already. And we still have
fabulous.
More people coming in. So it's and that's what it is, just to create the sacred circle, the sacred space for others in our field to come forward, give them a chance, give them a spiritual platform, because it's so much needed right now.
Well, it's really very welcoming for me, because I've done niche radio. They call it niche, NICHE, which is great. I was part of a battery of opera enthusiasts and comedians, and so my show was probably more oddball than everybody else's, I think. But here under Goldylocks Productions, it's just accepted. It's just like, oh, okay, well, she does this, and Laura Romero does that, and Jimmy Mack does this, and Tiffany White does that, and it's wonderful. And Reverend Brian Rawls, he does this, and it's pretty cool because we do share a lot of the same callers. That's kind of cool too. I wanted to mention your website so that people can see all of the gorgeous things that you do. www.whitesagewoman.com. You have NSP essential oils, CBD, hemp and oil and products, herbs and nature sunshine. What else do we have on there? Lots of healing modalities. And I wanted to ask you about that first. It seems as if, correct me if I'm wrong, you were a psychic medium first and then a healer, or a healer first and then psychic medium?
Well, it's interesting because as a child, I always considered myself a healer. I thought everybody was intuitive. I thought everybody did what they were supposed to do, and I couldn't articulate. I couldn't, the verbiage wasn't there as a child so hard. You just expect everyone to be telepathic because nature is and animals are, and how come my mom and dad, aren't responding to me like my dog is? So it was very frustrating to learn words and to speak and to be able to communicate. But I always was like, well, I'm a healer, and then they'd pet me on the head and go, oh, that's cute, you want to be a nurse. And I had no idea what a nurse was, and, and then as I get older, and it was like, no, and it's nothing against nurses, kudos to nurses. I was like, no, that's not what I was talking about. But it was, I can't really say I think it was all at the same time, because it's all encompassing. It really is all the same energy. It's just what door you enter that energy source, So it's like a long hallway leading to the same source or different paths and what path you're going to take. So it's all the same. And I just, watching my mom be sick from a very young age is what hit me with the healing. And it really wasn't until she crossed over and then I started getting messages 13, 15 years later when I started going to spiritualist churches. It was, oh, well, Tiffany, you consider yourself just a healer, but you're not. You can do psychic mediumship too. And that terrified me. And they're like, we need to get to the root of this. Why does that terrify you? And I was like, because my mom always told me to be quiet. My mom didn't want to hear it. So it's
That's interesting
that
because
I almost fell out of my chair because now she's coming forth in spirit going, just sing like a bird now. Just open your mouth and talk. Just let it come out.
Wow. I guess she knew better once she made her transition, huh? I guess she looked at it differently.
But she didn't want to hear about, I knew when my grandmother crossed over before she did. Because we had a conversation the night before, and she didn't want to hear it. She didn't like any of that. And so I couldn't talk about our loved ones that came forward. It freaked her out. She was like, look, people just don't, you can't talk this way, especially in public. You know, please don't. I don't want them to take them away from me. And especially when her and my biological dad got divorced when I was 4. Mom was terrified. She was just like, please, it's really hard for single mothers in this time of day. Please don't do anything that's going to get you taken away from me. So, of course, I kept my mouth shut, you know.
Oh, I see.
But,
yeah. That was I was reading that in your bio that your mother had passed young. My mother did pass young, too. My mother was 49. I believe your mother was, 47?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm said it's hard growing up without a mom, and I think it's kind of one of the things that maybe we seek some answers in metaphysics or in the spiritual realms. I don't know if you agree with that, but to me, I did. I think that you do. Yeah, I think losing a parent at a young age makes you question a lot of things you need answers to. So as you were doing healing, and then you also discovered that you should be doing psychic mediumship, what do you feel led to? What made you become a minister on top of this?
Well, it was actually out of people asking if for me to do some sacred ceremonies, and it was to cover all belief systems, all religions, just all belief systems, period. And so it was. I became ordained twice, actually. The first time is through an actual church there in Florida, but the owners, the minister, has since moved to South America. But it's the Church of Light, Reverend Michael Carbone, and so it's in West Florida. I'm just trying to remember where the Church of Light was, but so he ordained me a long time ago. I think it was 2009. 10 years ago, and then about a couple months after I was ordained went to the ordination there. Then I just went online and joined the Universal Church, the one that's online, just because they had and they still do this tight work community with ministers of all beliefs who can still talk to each other. And I thought that was really neat, just to be able to have that correspondence with others, very open-minded, and to share, for those that wanted to do marriage ceremonies, to share state laws. That's where you went to learn,
right? Because
it was different state, and so it's a good resource guide. Pretty much.
Yes, I have found that too. I'm a member of that too. That's very interesting. So that you have a well-rounded you have a rounded of everything. You could kind of do anything. You could do a celebration of life. You could do a wedding. You can talk to someone's departed family. You can talk about the future. You can do several modalities of healing. And then you're in the middle of being your own production person and learning about all live stream and all this stuff, which just makes my head spin. But you're so gifted at it. It's beautiful. I appreciate you doing all this. Great.
Oh, thank you. It's just like, I'm going with the flow. Going where
you do really, really well. Do you feel like taking a caller?
Yeah, sure. We can take a caller.
Okay, great. We have a few callers queued up. I guess they understood my instruction this time to press 1. Some of them know because they call in a bit. But this is area code 860.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have a question for Tiffany?
This is Amla. Hi, Tiffany. It's nice to talk to you.
Hi, Amla. How are you, dear? What's going on? What questions do you have?
It's always good. It's so cool that you're a guest. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
That is so
Thank
cool.
you. Well,
we never get to hear you.
I know, right?
And I really love the story about your grandmother. I love your story. See, we learn something new every day. I love that. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
What questions?
Yeah, just basically, I've been March, maybe it's Mercury March. There's a lot of it was turbulent month, pretty much over, and so I was just wondering, anything good happening for April for me? I just really feel like I think that's why it was so turbulent for me to just cleanse and just eradicate the stuff that, like the residual stuff from eons and ancestry stuff. I'm serious. I did a lot of cleansing. And then, so yeah, is that the reason why I went through it, to go through new beginnings, rebirth, I guess, for April?
Yes, but let me tell you, everyone's going through this right now. Check this out. So we started this 3-year, 2019 is a number 3 year. And the first 3 months of this 3-year, we've had 3 supermoons in a row. Bam, bam, bam. So we are getting heavy uploads, downloads, whatever you want to call them. DNA is being restructuring, and we're releasing. So what happens during ascension is, as things rise, it also brings a lot of negativity, anger. The old stuff that was buried has come to the surface. So we're releasing. And yeah, it's been hard. This has been a very hard 3 months, and I'm looking forward to April because I'm telling you, it's testing everybody. All right, but this is part of the process. But I know you've done a lot of work over the years, Amla, on yourself, and so you really have released a lot, grown a lot, and you have some really good things coming up for you. And you know, you now have learned that, and I think a lot of us do have to really learn to kind of get it, that aha moment, that you don't have to have someone to complete you, but it's nice to have somebody to go and do things and hang out with and just to date. So, and that person is coming for you because you really have done a lot of self-work, and you deserve to have that beautiful reflection of who you are.
It's so funny because I wasn't even, it's like when you feel whole, you're not even looking for it anymore. You're just like, you know, it's been so, it's been so choppy lately that you don't have time.
And that's what happens. I knew you weren't even going to ask about that. I knew you weren't even going to ask about your love life. That's what they were telling me. They're like, because she's not looking. And that's the perfect time for them to come right in.
That is so funny. Can I just ask you one mini question? My last chapter of the book is almost done. I'm finishing it up, actually, technically this weekend. So technically March, I'm finishing it up. When do you feel or sense, any of you feel, getting it published? I know I'm going to have to do
as soon as possible by the end of the year. As soon as possible by the end of the year, even if you have to self-publish. There's a lot of independent writers. I call them indie writers, and there's a lot of groups on Facebook that you can learn from and get information from. But it's important you get this out by the end of the year, and you will.
Oh, okay. No, that totally makes sense because I'm done. I just know the technical stuff of the first time being an author. You know, you got to get your ducks in a row. So I think that's what's going to.
That's what.
Yes. Okay. Because it's done. That's what I worked in the winter for, which helped a lot because now it's time to blossom to be out there. So,
that's great. Thank you so much for calling in and speaking with Tiffany. That's great. Thank you, Tiffany, for sharing that.
Thank you, Carolan. Thank you, Tiffany.
You're
Happy
welcome.
Thanks so much. Much love
Thank
to you.
Well, she's bubbly and effervescent. That's fabulous. I liked what you had to say about the 3 moons, and I had forgotten that talent that you also have. About, is it astrology or is it the planets that you're attracted to, that you understand?
Yeah, I think I've always understood the relationship with all planets and stars, and we're all living beings, just in different dimensions, vibrations, and realms. But it's always appealed to me. I think all of us, it's just embedded in our DNA to go outside and look up at the stars, and we find this connection with. But the moon most definitely, women should pay attention to your menstrual cycles are usually around full or new moons. And there's, no coincidence there, so we really are greatly affected. And that the right now we have, well, I should say not right now, but ever since 2014 and 2015, there was a flood of the divine feminine coming back in for 2 years. And we've been leveling out into that balance mode after this time. But now the full moon since then is where we're getting some really heavy upgrades. And so it's some people make you be even more sleepless or restless, or they keep waking up, and because the energy is a lot for people to take. But and in the past, they would usually give us a break. We would have like these uploads, or even our dreams. Pay attention to your dreams, your astral travels. We're still working even when we sleep. I know I'm still. I go and help heal. I'm doing healing work. So we all are doing this, especially
very interesting. Now. I noticed just myself, and I really don't have any talent for astrology or anything like that, but the little bit that I do understand, I feel like if you did not, you're like you said, you're getting downloads, or you're getting an energy through these full moons and through these cycles. I can tell you, I know it affected me, because now I'm like working like a dog, where before I could barely get my face out of the carpet for some reason. And now it's like, let me get this done, let me get this done, let me get that done. And about letting things go, it's kind of humorous. My life is kind of weird like this. When you're not ready to let something go, you know how we stagnate, you're not ready to let something go. Well, this cycle seems to be, you will let this go because we're ripping it right out of your hands. And I noticed that, and I was like, okay, and then you see it going by like the Wizard of Oz, like the tornado, things are going by, and I'm like, I wasn't quite ready to let that go yet, Oh, I guess you are now, And so I think it's kind of funny. It's humorous, but how the universe and spirit takes care of us, whether we are ready or not. That's pretty interesting. What is your preference when you say you are healing? Let me ask you this question. I always ask healers this, and I find I don't know the answer, but I don't heal as much as perhaps you do and Jimmy Mack does. And some other people I know, different modalities, different kinds of healing. When healing does not take place in the physical, suppose they come to you for a physical ailment, and it does not take place, and you've thrown everything at it, what do you surmise from that? What is your answer of that question, if I could ask you that?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Now, first off, healing always works. It's the person receiving that wants to accept it. Healing is never wasted. It goes into, I see like this, what connects the whole earth is this energetic grid, this golden energetic, this golden light bridge. And when you're working with someone one-on-one on their healing, all right, healing is only a part of that equation. They have a choice whether they want to accept this healing, this opportunity for mind, body, and soul. It's not just for body, it's for mind, body, and soul. So if they can take it into their body, to be pain-free, to feel good. But that feel-good moment is to help them work on their trigger. So what set this off in your body? Was it anger? Was it upset? You didn't feel self-worthy enough? It's to help you really work on that, not just, okay, I feel good now, I'm going to go back and, do this, 100-mile walk or this hike or do this and do that and just totally ignore the trigger because it's going to go off again until we take care of it. The body's like the final place of where something that's outside of our aura, our luminous body field, then it moves closer and closer, and then it gets into the body. It's our alarm systems going off, going, hey, we have a problem. It doesn't belong here. Can we get rid of it? And surprisingly, it's not always just going to the doctors. They can't help you with the mind, and the soul part. And this is where miracles occur when people finally get it and go, wait a minute, I know exactly what it is. I'm going to address this no matter how painful it is, because the truth, self-truth, is very painful, and you have to get past that. But if you want to heal, you do it. And then you realize it wasn't as hard as you thought it was going to be. It wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. And so once your ego stops fighting you, and then that surrender takes place, and then it's that loving just, okay, it's okay. We're not placing blame. We need to find the trigger to move on, to heal and release and resolve.
Was it Carolan Mace that wrote the book, Why Some People Don't Heal? Was that? Does it also have something to do with this is who they are? Because I've seen people I know have received phenomenal spiritual healing and energetic healing, all kinds of healing, and they still have a problem. And Western medicine has helped them as far, and they still have this problem. Is it because this is who they are? This is who they perceive themselves to be?
In the past, yes. A long time, like with my mom, I saw her activate her cancer. I saw her energize it. I saw it go into the body. I saw her bring it in and activate it. I also knew that was her mission because she battled it 3 times.
Wow.
And there's people like that who are teachers. Their experience, their life experience is teaching the rest of the family. Will I be where I am today if my mom wasn't sick? Probably, I don't know. I mean, really, all right?
Yeah,
so, and kids that come in sick, I know that's heart-wrenching, but it turns the parents back usually to God, back to the light, back to some sort of belief.
There's a reason.
Exactly, all right? And so, but you need to know now, since 2012, the wheel of karma has finished spinning. So what that means is that no more karmic, I'll get it in the next time. Oh, no, we're wrapping it all up right here, right now. There is no next time. We're taking care of any karmic debts ASAP. And those that don't want to are leaving this earth plane. And there's nothing wrong with that because when you cross over, you're just going back to God anyway. So it's okay.
Very well put. Thank you for answering that because I don't know if that's on anyone else's mind, but you do see it, and sometimes it makes you realize, there's so many levels of healing. It could be emotional. It could be also that the body is in short of a miracle. If it needs a miracle, the body may be so progressed in its disease that maybe the healing is acceptance. I don't know. But there's always a lesson learned here somewhere. So healing doesn't fail, and I like the way that you put that. It's not the healing doesn't fail. It may not always be accepted. So that was beautifully put. Thank you so much for answering that.
Well, thank you. And this is something that the angels and guides and even it's the Intergalactic Council, the light beings, are saying. The train's leaving the station, folks. Get on the train or you're going to get left behind. And there's no more hemming and hawing, no more dragging your feet, no more late buses. No, get on the train. and let's go. The ascension train, right? So this is it. And if you're listening to it, don't let that scare you. Guess what? You're paying attention. And you care about your spiritual health and wellness. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to this show, whether it's live or archived. All right? So pat yourself on the back because you do care. So what we're seeing happen, what happens to this 3D is that it implodes on itself, is that it dissolves. It's recycled. Everything in nature is recycled, the death and rebirth, the death and rebirth. And so a lot of us are already in the fourth dimension and getting, higher. And so so we're definitely going back to the fifth dimension and higher because many beings on this earth plane were always higher than 3D anyway. So they're going to be higher than 5D as well. So it's, but this is the time. The kids coming in now are all very much high dimensional babies that are safe to come in. No more of these sick babies. Now, the thing is that we have to understand is that science can't treat these new babies with all their strands of DNA as the body they see in the book, an old, outdated medical book. So they can't treat them that same way. Or they're going to say they're sick because they don't understand. So thank goodness, though, that everything is ascending at the same time. And these kids wouldn't come in if they were just going to be tortured.
Right.
So.
And I like how you're mentioning the ascension because even in myself, I'm as among other people too. I notice other people. We've talked about this. Are reaching in and pulling something out of themselves that they didn't know was there, or they're reaching for a higher level, generally spiritually, or learning how to get along better, or finding a new way. So I really feel that there's so much truth in what you're saying. In my limited knowledge of what you're talking about, I can see it in my own daily life among people that I know. So thank you for sharing that because I was beginning to think, well, I've been hitting my head up against the wall long enough. I guess I decided not to do that and to do something better. But actually, I think it's what you're talking about. I think it's about the ascension.
Right.
And ascension meaning, explain ascension for a moment to our listeners. Ascension meaning moving up to another dimension, moving up to another sphere of learning. What are we talking about?
Yeah, pretty much all of the above. I mean, it's not like it's what we're used to the physical, so it's kind of hard for us to understand this. It's not like we're going to pack our bags and go to an actual physical place, okay? This is what's happening within us all, spiritually, vibrationally. And it's that, and you really want to understand that. Go out in nature, sit down. And as soon as you connect with the bird, as soon as you connect with the earth, as soon as you connect and you feel that vibration, or you really want that everyone relates to, go to the ocean, go to the water, put your feet in the water. And as the water pulsates up in, to and fro, ebb and flow from your feet, you feel that pulsation, that vibration, that ripple effect. That's it right there. That's that vibration. That's what's changing. That's what's elevating us, putting us back into our power. Because we have, by divine design, have 12 strands of DNA, 12 chakras and above. And so that's the type of healing work I do, is I help you activate the rest of your chakras. Not because we can't take the 3D 7 chakras into the fifth dimension with us. We have to have our 12 chakra system and above activated and ready to go. And most of you are, but you might not be realizing what's happening. But what helps make it smoother, because we don't want any more fighting, what makes it smoother to accept is when you realize what the 12 chakras are. And for those who don't know, you can look on my website, whitesagewoman.com, look under the Cosmic Heart Healing, and there's a chart of the 12 chakras. And just stare at it, study it, imagine the energy flowing through it, and start working with that. I mean, that's just a necessity I feel everyone should be doing, to feel how that energy is flowing through all these energy centers.
It's wonderful, www.whitesagewoman.com, full of a lot of information, Tiffany. Beautiful job on that. because, it's almost as if I feel it's sort of like floating along in the ocean, and it's become a little bit more energized or wavy, and you're kind of going with the flow, but you don't really have a choice. You have to go that way.
Right.
And that's the kind of the feeling that I'm getting, is you're kind of pulled along and being made to evolve anyway. And the harder you resist it, the more difficult your journey's going to be, And so I thank the universe for that, because I don't know if I would have moved otherwise, I like to be comfortable. Anyway, I have another caller for you. Let's take this area code 956. They've been very patient here, and I'm sure they want to ask you something.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Hi.
My question is, I guess I would say love life too. I mean, I've been out and single for about 2 years already, so I want to see what you could see for me in the near future, or
Good question.
Sure, sweetie.
Tiffany.
What's your name,
My
sweetie?
name is Tony. Tony, Tiffany. It's Tony.
Okay. Tony, yep. All right, okay. All right, so it's you're such a very beautiful, you have there's this rose for your heart. I mean, you just have this beautiful rose, multi-petaled rose heart. And the thing is that, okay, and don't take this wrong, but you fall in love with love. It's that love process, and you're not naive like that. Please don't take it that way. Maybe in your younger days you were, but you really have learned a lot about that, about love and who you are and what you want and don't want in relationships. And you've used this time off, this break, to learn more about yourself, which is good. All right. And so there absolutely is someone coming for you, though. Go out, accept invitations from all your friends, especially I feel like summertime. You're going to be out and about, because I feel like it's an outside event where there's this bazaar, this outdoor market, and some music's being played. And just go explore your area or travel, do a little bit of traveling, go visit some friends. And I feel like it's not a music festival, but there's music, there's shopping, it's all outside, and this is where you're going to meet somebody who, okay? And so it's going to be somebody new, somebody you don't know, and you're just going to hit it off. You're going to be like that recognition when you look at each other and go, oh, well, there you are. That's what's going to be like. That's what's going to happen for you.
That sounds beautiful. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think it's about time.
Yeah,
it is.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm hoping to meet someone. I think,
I get the month of July, so I don't know if that means anything, but I'll just pass that on.
Yeah.
It feels
perfect.
very warm and nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And also,
So
put a flower in your hair and put on this long dress. I don't know if you did any type of dancing in the past, but they want you to put on this beautiful dress and put a rose or a flower in your hair, put some nice dancing shoes on, and have fun. Kick up your heels is what I'm hearing. Kick up your heels, have fun.
I'm not a dancer, to be honest with you. I could wear the dress.
They want you to get out there and dance. Just let the music flow through your body, okay? Let the music flow through your body.
Okay.
And a good partner will make you look like a fabulous dancer. That's their role. So you might meet somebody who's a great dancer and make you look fabulous. So I've had it happen to me. I'm 2 left feet, but with the right guy who knows what they're doing, the dance of life. There you go. Tony, you are wonderful. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Sure. God bless. That's pretty cool. Tiffany, when you are getting messages for people such as this, do you get pictures? Do you have a sensation? How does it appear to you? How does it feel to you?
It's it's pictures, it's sensations, it's feelings, it's knowings, it's sometimes smells, and it's just that's how it all comes in. A lot from the guides, and sometimes I do. Again, I'm having to relearn. Well, not really relearn. They're always in the background. Our loved ones are standing there. But I have the angels and the guides, the ascended masters. They're my first layer that I always converse with, and that they feed me the information. But I do have that. If those that want to talk to somebody, that's not my specialty. That's yours.
Yeah.
It can be done, but you have to schedule a session and let's warm up to it, because that's how I work. They can be standing on that outer ring, and I have to invite them in. And then this too. There's some really gabby and talkative loved ones, and then there's some that just stand there and don't say anything. So
right.
But yeah, that's how I get the impressions, just through it. It's like pictures, impressions, the knowing, the smell, just all of it, really.
It's all encompassing. Yes, I hear that.
Yeah.
I like to have the psychics and mediums explain what they are sensing and feeling when they're speaking to someone. I think it helps listeners or your clients understand a little bit better. And for me, there's nothing like it. I just am so grateful and honored to be able to do this work. Whichever it is, some people find, like June Elaine finds lost pets. You kind of do everything, but you have more of a psychic event that you like to use. When I work as a psychic, I do that because not everybody wants to speak to dead grandma, but sometimes dead grandma is very well aware of what's going on and will stick her 2 cents in. So, but I like what I do, and I think everybody finds their avenue, their street, up their alley. It really turns them on, and I love doing. I feel very honored to do that work. Also, what else? What do you have coming up? What is your latest thing besides? Let's get back to your Goldylocks Productions a moment. Now, this idea the name came from Spirit, correct?
Yes. It was like, okay, it's Goldylocks. That name came from Spirit, as far as my angelic committee. We'll call it Goldylocks Productions, because I was like, oh my goodness, do I need to LLC that too? And they're like, no, you already have the healing. Goldylocks Temple of Healing is LLC. It's going to be a subsidiary of that. It's all encompassing. And I was like, oh, you can do that. I mean, so they teach me a lot.
Yeah, that's good advice. Very good advice. And so did you start as just radio and then branched into the TV portion, or what happened here?
No, it was whoever wanted to do both, because at that point, by then, I had used, so there's like live stream, Wirecast. This is old school, producing online live TV shows or in recorded ones. All the other producers think I'm crazy for doing live shows, because most everyone else records their podcasts, record their videos, and then, but I think there's a thrill in live, and I was like, oh no, no script here, just let it, especially in our work. How can you channel, you got to be able to just open up and go. And
good point.
And so,
that's a good point. I'm enjoying the difference. I recorded all my interviews, and I was helping to make everybody else well known, and not myself. So thank you for encouraging me to do that for myself on In the Psychic Flow, which is a live show, different show. I've been pushed about TV too, and it's not something I want to do, because I like doing readings in my pajamas on the phone if I can. I do have an office now that I do actually get dressed and, work out of. So that's kind of nice too. But I'm really glad for the telephone. I hate Skype, to be honest. How would I do on something like TV? Would I be like unmanageable?
No, not at all, not at all. And so what's really great now is there's a studio. It's Be Live TV. Works through Facebook Live. It works it works with permissions from Facebook. And so it's a studio that I have on my computer. Again, it's part of the production. It's part of the whole, I run that. That's what I do for my show. That's what I do for Reverend Brian Rawls' show on Wednesday nights. And he just connects, he has to, it's a special link. He has to link in, and then he connects his camera, and we're good to go. And so I'm streaming us live through Facebook. And what's great about that is you got the comments, you got people public. It's public. People are watching live, and that's through the Goldylocks Productions Facebook page. So those of you who are listening and maybe don't realize this, there's a page and a group, but all the shows stream live through the page. So just make sure that you go and like the page. Maybe try to hit some notifications of when the shows go live. We do post when they do go live, so you can hit follow that. But so it is, I understand what you're talking about, because my work on a daily basis, I'm in my pajamas in my office. But it's nice to, let's get prettied up and get in front of the camera. And
yes. I mean, let me get, it takes longer and longer as I get older. But, I just have, I keep getting, I've been interviewed by two TV producers, but with someone else, actually. And we were too old, apparently. So for that, I guess they were looking for younger psychic. Yeah, we were too old. And for what they were looking, I guess, like reality TV. And I had an interview with Ivy Rivera out of Buffalo, New York, and she has 3 psychic kids. Now, she was definitely a shoo-in for a show, and she did get it. We talked about it on her interview, and I said, I think one of these kids is going to be a celebrity, And darn it, if she didn't say, we're being interviewed for a TV show, and I think they're on the Learning Channel or something. But, that I can understand. Wow. An older lady like myself, I'm not that old, but I'm retired. So who would be interested? Nobody. So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking nobody would want to watch it.
No, I don't believe that at all. I mean, but we're talking about network television, or whether it's cable or something like that, on demand now, that type of thing. Sure, there might be specific parameters or certain specifications that they're looking for, but to me, it's like there's an experience. I mean, we have a veteran. I know she's our most seasoned. I'm not going to say older. Shelley Hoffberg, she was on earlier today, and I find it an honor to have this type of people in our circle too, all ages, and because it doesn't matter. To me, age, it's just a number.
Right. Well, this is my best age so far, actually. This is the best I've ever felt. So I'm enjoying this age. I'm 63, and I'm okay with it. It's fine. Let me ask you, what is coming up new in that realm of streaming and live shows? What's coming up new for you? What are you going to do besides all this other stuff that you're doing? How do you feel this is going to change your career? Well, it's just, we have a new show that's going to start next month. Melissa Parks, she's joined us. Right. Right. So she started. So it's getting more show hosts. They have to be the right vibration. They have to be the right fit for our team. And so I do see our team, expanding. And so it's just, I'm just going where they take me. I mean, because it's very important and very much needed to have all these shows. So I still, like I said, have ongoing education. I learn about podcasting, radio production, any of the newest things out, tidbits. I mean, it's like today I had to totally take apart Shelley's show and put it back together again, because there was so many, there was some problem areas that needed some editing. So I had to go in there and take it apart and put it back together. I would have never thought I would have been able to do that years ago. What? That's amazing. The skill set that you're picking up is incredible. You know, that's worth millions and millions. You know, your experience is just fabulous. And, of course, your ability to jump in, you know, and do that. And I'm very grateful for that because you had helped me out. We had a snag one night, my first show, and we were able to record something and get it up. And, you know, these things happen, especially if it's live. This is what happens. And that's kind of the part of the excitement, I guess. You know? I don't know, but, you know, and you forge ahead, which is kind of interesting. Do we have any other?
Sure.
Can we slip one more caller in tonight? Let's see if we have anybody else waiting.
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Let's see who we have. 347. You're the next caller.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for taking my call. My name's Tanika.
Tanika.
Hi,
Tanika.
Hi, Tanika.
Hi.
What question do you have?
I wanted to look into my current job. Recently, well, today actually, out of the blue, my manager decides to move my seat back to upstairs where I used to work, next to a girl that I don't really get along that well with, and also closer to a guy that I still have feelings for, that I was seeing all fall and winter at my job. And now we're kind of like not talking, even though I still have feelings for him. And when my boss came after surgery, yes. So
it's like your own version of hell, isn't it?
Right.
Right. Oh, God.
What is going on? Like,
Tiffany, what's going on with that?
And what's going to happen? Like, and him and me.
Okay. So you have to, all right. So here we go. So now it's like, so now you're being shuffled immediately. It says, why is this happening? And is it because of you? No, it's not because of you. Understand, too, that a lot of times we help teach people. And the people that you're sitting in between, there you go. You have experience and history with both of them. And so the thing is, keep your head up. You like the job. And this is a test. I keep hearing, this is a test. It's only a test.
Yes.
You're not going to last. You're not going to stay seated in that seating arrangement beyond 3 weeks. I feel it's going to be changing, if not before then. 2 to 3 weeks, they're going to redo the seating again. You be a lady about it. Hold your head up and don't complain. Don't say one word because it's a test. And they're looking for leadership. They're looking for people who can put workplace drama aside. And you can do that.
Straighten your crown, honey, and show them how it's done.
Yes, exactly.
That's it. That's what they're looking for, and you have that crown. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just couldn't help myself. I feel like Long Island Medium when she blurts stuff out. I love her. Anyway, I just had to say that. Straighten your crown, sweetheart, because they are looking, show them how it's done. I had a similar situation. It was very difficult for me to walk into, a lot of haters, and I thought, oh, God, I'll never get through this. And I just acted like nothing had ever happened. There had been no drama. Today is a new day. Smiled, and I just kept going. And you know what? It drives them crazy. It really does, because that's the classy way to deal with it. You just move on. And you can do this. You have a crown for a reason. Absolutely. You can do this.
With he and I.
And remember, an X is an X for a reason.
Right.
So keep him
an X is an X. Good. That's the answer to your question right there.
Like even up to last night, he texted me and he's like, why are people saying that we're not talking? Who said we're not talking?
Texting is nowhere. Tell him texting is lazy.
Yeah.
I know. I mean,
if you really want to know what a woman thinks, you either take her out to lunch or you give her a phone call and invite her out. But obviously, he's being sneaky lazy. So you broke up with him once. Don't go there again. We don't recycle that stuff.
So when you look into him, you see him being bad news, and he's a no, or does he have feelings?
He's a no. I'm going with a no, Tiffany. And I think that your ladyship attitude is going to bring you the right guy. So your new attitude about yourself.
You may see good in him. That's right, but he's not for your highest and greatest. You deserve so much better. You deserve to be flipped off your feet and treated like a lady, not like, oh, hey, I'm just going to send you a text every once in a while. What is that? No.
Yeah, yeah. You're okay, Tamika. You'll be fine. Thank you for calling in.
I applied for a transfer out of that office last week to another office, and I haven't heard back. Do you see that happening? Like, am I going to get to leave because I'm so over?
We see something within 2 to 3 weeks. You're going to be shifted and changed around, so it could be that transfer. So that's what I'm saying. Just hang in there because it's not going to last too much longer. Hold your head up, be a lady, and keep going. Adjust your crown. I like what Carolan said. You can do this. Good luck to you, sweetheart.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I like it when you're in synchronicity with another reader, where you're both like saying the same thing. It's kind of interesting. I just blurt stuff out. I apologize for that. You have a nice way back to delivering news. I'm kind of like blunt force trauma, like Joanne Leo. We both kind of like use a hammer to open a window. But you have a very nice, gentle, calming way of kicking butt, and I really appreciate that about you, Tiffany. Very, very nice. I love having you produce my show.
I really am very direct and to the point, too. And my grandmother and great-grandmother has come forward, and they always helped me. They're my big inspirations, too. And they always said, now we want you to be the iron fist and the velvet glove.
Yes, I'm just kind of learning that. That's what Joanne Leo, Psychic Joanne Leo, is a frequent radio personality.
Yes.
And she tells me that, too. And I'm just starting to learn the velvet glove trick. It's difficult, but you're right. That is exactly the way that it needs to be done. And done beautifully, by the way. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for that. Is there anything else you want to tell us? What's going on in your new show, on your next show, rather? Who are you having? What are you going to do? Anything special?
No, I don't have guests on my show because actually the Angelic Committee and Intergalactic Selection Councils like for me to just be able to, I allow that time for channeling. And so just any information that comes in, because things are changing so fast. So it's the last to the minute. I mean, I don't know until I open my mouth what's going to be said a lot of times on my shows. So and I have to go back and watch sometimes because I don't remember what's being said, what's being channeled. So but ongoing, I mean, I do have some online courses. If somebody wants to go to my website and look at the online courses to activate your avatar is fairly new. It was last fall, and it helps you to embrace everything that's happening with this ascension, meet it head on, so that everything will be a little smoother instead of so rigid and feel like we're fighting and trying to keep our head above water. But just check my website out. And again, Carolan, thank you so much for having me on this side of the show, and I enjoyed it so much. And thank you. Thank you, callers. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, it was wonderful. Thank you so much. And your website is www.whitesagewoman.com, and there's a wealth of information here about Reverend Tiffany and everything that she does. Fabulous producer and a fabulous psychic and medium and healer. So it's been an absolute joy to interview you. Thank you so much for livening up in the psychic flow. I've had a great time. Thank you, and have a good evening, listeners. Thank you, Tiffany. Good night.
Thank you so much. Good night.